What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're doing an in the bag. I've been working on this bag for a while now. It's been about 2 years that I've been throwing a lot of these molds, so I'm really excited to share what I'm going to be throwing for the 2022 season with all of you. To start out, we've got my putting putters. So these are 4S Wizards. They're pretty brand new. I got them about a month ago. Was looking for something a little bit glidier than my PA3s. These have really helped out with that. Nice and thick, fit well in my hand, have a pretty decent sized bead on them, and then just super gummy because of that 4S plastic. Got the disc store stamp on them. They've really helped build up some confidence that I've been missing a little bit with my putt, so 4S Wizards for that. Next up, we have the throwing putters. So first off, we have this K1 Soft Berg. Everybody in Fred Rock told me to get a Berg for the longest time, and I finally submitted and gave in and got one, and I am so happy that I did. It's been an absolute blast throwing this thing. Backhand, forehand, does not matter either way. It's an absolutely great disc. Helps me with my touch a lot because I can just rip on this and it won't go any farther than like 275. So this has been really surprising, really cool. Love the Berg. Next up, we got my Envies. These ones I've had for a while now, probably around a year. This purple one is a Electron Firm Envy. This one was my first ace disc. Super beat up now and warped and everything, and it's been really good. It gets a bunch of distance. Really nice for long turnover shots. I can throw them really light on hyzer. They flip over, specifically this one. And it's just been a staple in my bag for throwing up shots for a while now. And then we have this Proton Envy. This one is really interesting. This flies more like a mid-range, even farther than some of my mid-ranges sometimes. It's really overstable. It's beaten in now, so it's kind of more of like a flat thrower to overstable finish, but goes for miles. I cannot say how much I love the Envy. As soon as I got my hands on it, I never looked back. Super good hand feel, and this plastic specifically, super hard, really fun to throw. Get you an Envy if you don't have one. Next up, we have my Zones. I've been throwing Zones since I started playing disc golf. They are far and away my favorite disc. I think they're the best disc ever made, personally. First up, I have this Glow Zone. This is an Adam Hammis tour series from Resistance Discs. This one's been in for a while now, pretty seasoned. Stamp is pretty much all the way rubbed off. This has turned into a super straight like thrower, one of my farthest throwers for the mid-range spot, and a nice like flip up forehand disc. Super bright in the dark if you're looking for something like that. This specific glow is awesome, nice color glow. But yeah, this one's been in for a while and I don't see myself taking it out. Next up, we have this Get Freaky Zone. So this one is pretty overstable. I've had this for a while as well. Feels super good on the forehand. Don't throw it backhand as much, but for forehand, I love digging in my thumb, and it lets me do that because it's super flexy. Sits on the ground really nice, doesn't get a ton of skip compared to the other two. So this one I'm always reaching for if I need it to stick on my up shots. Really good. And then finally, this is my newest zone in the bag. This is an ESP, little black on red guy. Super, super beefy. Probably the most overstable zone that I've ever had personally. Just an absolute meat hook. Throw it on backhand and forehand. It's always gonna dump either direction that I want it to. Super good for shaping anhyzers, especially I can put it out on a big anhyzer, let it flex out the whole time. So that's really nice. Also with touchy little forehand shots trying to get around trees. Zone is best disc of all time. Fight me. Yeah. Okay, so these are the mid-ranges. First up, we've got the Rock. So this dude I put in just a little bit ago. It's been amazing. This one specifically, pretty domey, so much glide. It seems to never want to stop moving. Great in the hand. I've thrown a couple Rock 3s in my time, but I always have gone back to saying that the Rock is my personal favorite. I just like how it holds a turnover for miles. Super good in the woods. I use it all the time. Great disc. Next up, we got the Buzzes. So This one is probably my oldest disc, this blue guy. I threw it in the video with David, super seasoned, has a nice flip up, still pretty neutral for the most part. I can throw it on a little bit of hyzer, it'll kind of get up to flat, maybe carry a little bit right, but it will always kind of get back to the left at the end. But it's just old trusty. Anytime that I'm at a new course or I need something that I trust going down a tight fairway, always going to be my first option. It's just, it's been with me forever, and I love it so much. It's very personal to me. And then next up we have this green Buzz, same ESP plastic, very similar. This one's a little bit more overstable, so I can throw it on a flat. It's gonna get out to the left at the end of the flight. This one has been really nice because I've had a couple buzzes that were similar to that blue one where it's like a little bit of flip up. This one won't really ever flip up unless it's in a wind, but it's been really great for those wood shots as well that I need to finish to the left. Finally, my fourth mid-range in the bag is the Justice. So this one has been really great. I searched for a long time to find a really overstable mid-range that felt good in my hand, that I really liked. This is the one I ended up going with after getting it. I threw a drone for a little while, didn't like how it felt in my hand for forehand specifically. This one, absolutely bored flat. Pretty gummy plastic, kind of like the Zone. It's in Lucid, which isn't typically that gummy, but this one specifically is pretty gummy. Really good for forehands. Like, unbelievably overstable for the backhands as well. Absolute meat hook. Fills a really great spot in the wind as well. I can throw it flat, it'll stay flat in a dead straight headwind. It's been a really good pickup. Next we got the Fairway drivers. These are my most used discs. I have a lot of them. I think like 9, something like that. But I use these all the time. I always go back to them. I love the control shots with them. So first up is the newest disc in my bag. This is a Ricky Explorer. This was a gift from my dad. Shout out to him. This thing has been very surprising to me. I didn't have a 7-speed in the bag for a while and kind of needed to fill the slot. This one has gone in so easily, so quickly. It goes an absolute mile, pretty stable, more than you would expect from a typical Explorer. This has like a nice pop top dome on it, but amazing disc. I can't wait to keep throwing it and figuring out what I can do with it. Next up, we have the Volt. This is another one that has just been fantastic for me. I use this thing all the time. This is probably my favorite disc in the bag right now. This is a Bendy James one, the first run that came out when he first went to MVP. This thing is laser straight, goes forever. I can sometimes pump these out on a slow arm day, like more than my Destroyers or anything like that. I can get this out a little bit farther, but this guy has been amazing. Holds up in wind pretty well if you throw it on hyzer, can shape it every which way. Really, really reliable disc. I recommend it to anybody. Next up, we got Discraft Undertaker. Got it on a couple different plastics. This one has been with me for a really long time as well, but this first one, this TI Undertaker, has been with me for a while, so it's really flippy. I can throw it on some steep hyzer, gets to the right. Really good for those wood shots that you can't really shape a forehand quite right, so you need a backhand to kind of move slowly to the right side. This is perfect for that. Now this one is a TI, I believe Foundation specific Undertaker, so shout out those guys. This thing has been great, just laser straight when you throw it on hyzer, flips up to flat, carries forever, and then finishes off a little bit to the left. This one has kind of been my main Undertaker that I've been using since the other one has kind of gotten a little too beat in for my liking. So this one's kind of the main guy right now. Super good in the woods. And then finally, we have this red Page Pierce Z Undertaker. I don't know what it is about Discraft in red plastic, but it always seems to be more overstable than any other kind of plastic that they have. I don't know, you can tell me if I'm wrong. But this one, like I said, a little bit more overstable than the other ones. Been experimenting throwing this on forehand a little bit, trying to get into throwing a little bit flippier discs on forehand. Been super good for that. Has a nice flip up either way you throw it. But this thing always finishes every time. You can always rely on it to not like burn over to the right. Distance shots that I need an Undertaker on, like in the woods if we got a huge tunnel, this one's really good for that. just like the other ones, can shape it super well. Really great disc. Finally, we have my Overstable fairway drivers. So these are all Raptors right here, minus the Captain's Raptor. This one is a 2020 Tour Series Ulibarri Raptor. This thing has gotten super beat up over the years, and it's super flat and pretty flippy for a Raptor. I've had some people throw this and been super surprised that it's a Raptor. They didn't believe me, but for forehands, flip up and just carrying a little bit to the left, finishing right, amazing disc. As it's gotten beat up, it's filled a slot in my bag I didn't know that I needed, and if I lost this, I would be absolutely broken. So this one is very special. Next up, Big Z Raptor. This one is really good. It was super beefy when I first got it, beat into a nice like straight to finish driver for me, and forehand, backhand. This is probably my most consistently used one. I love the grip of this Big Z plastic, kind of similar to a TI a little bit, but has the overstability of a Z, I found. So really, really good overstable fairway driver. Next up is this 2021 Tour Series disc, Raptor. And this one is pretty overstable, has a little bit of a pop top to it, fights wind really well, can throw it on those anhyzers. Forehand stays laser straight to a little bit of finish at the end of it. Really, really great disc. I like it a lot. Been super happy because I needed one that's just a tick more overstable than my Big Z. That's done that really well. And then finally, the almighty Captain's Raptor. This thing is fantastic. I'm so happy that Discraft decided to do this. The feeling in the hand is just so good. It's a lot better than the Raptor for me personally. It's a little bit thicker rim, which you can really tell when you grip on it and try to get those big ripping shots. Headwind, this thing is not moving. It's been super good for those kind of things. Forehand has been excellent, can get it on a little bit of turnover, just goes forever. Yeah, been missing something like this. Captain's Raptor, I'm loving it, I'm digging on it, I need more, so yeah. And now we're moving on to the distance drivers. These guys are all super workhorses for me. Throw them all over the place. First up, this Garrett Gurthie Emperor. This thing has been incredible. Super, super good flyer. Goes so far, farther than any other disc in my bag consistently. Really big pop top on these Garrett Gurthie Emperors, but man, it is just, it's one of the best discs that I've thrown in a really long time. Throw destroyers religiously, and this thing just beats it out a little bit. With the pop top, it has a super nice grip, especially like in your thumb. You can really push down on it and get really big distance. Been liking this a lot, throwing it in a lot of my TikToks and stuff like that. Love this disc. Next up is this Glow Destroyer that I got for winning New Jersey States in MA1 last year. This one is pretty beat up now, pretty flippy. So in tailwinds, this thing is gone for days. Can go super, super far. Forehands, I don't really throw it on anymore. It's mainly just a backhand thrower. I've experimented throwing some rollers on this. If you get it down right, it goes a really long time, has a really slow flip up on those rollers, but super flippy destroyer. Pretty stable finish at the end, but for the most part, just carries right the whole way. Now this dyed Ricky Destroyer has been great. Really bridges a gap between my flippy Destroyer Emperor to my Halo Destroyers. This one is pretty stable, stock Star Destroyer. It's pretty flat, fits really well in my hand. I've been ripping on it a lot, especially if any wind comes in and I get a little sketched out where I'm not throwing the Emperor. This guy's coming out and it also goes forever. Really love this disc, looks absolutely amazing. So you obviously want to throw it well, but yeah, shout out Central PA for this one. Next, my black Kalbenheimer Destroyer. This guy has been really, really good as well. Obviously in headwind, nothing beats it, to be honest. Just carries forever. Throw it on really big anhyzers, always gets out of it. Super good distance thrower, especially For me, I get a little bit of the tournament jitters and I ended up throwing farther, so a lot of times I will just pull this out and always trust that even if I'm ripping a little bit harder than I'm used to, it's gonna hold up. Super good disc. Pretty much the same as this purple one. This purple one's a little bit more overstable than the black one, but same premise, overstable, Calvin Heimberg Destroyer, Kalmberg. Really good disc. I recommend it for faster arm speeds, especially. Nothing beats it. And then finally, we have this ESP Force. I've had this one for a long time as well. It has not beat in at all. There are nicks in it everywhere. It has hit a lot of trees and it refuses to be any less overstable than it is. Really, really meat hook-esque disc. Yeah, just fights wind all day. I can throw it on huge anhysers and it'll always finish out. I throw it a lot for spikes as well, getting it up and just having it spike straight down into the ground. Skip shots, forehand, backhand, what have you. Fantastic disc. I like it a lot. Can't bag more than one because I love my destroyers too much. I don't have enough space in my bag. If I could, I would, but this one had to stay in. I couldn't replace it. Absolutely amazing disc. And then finally, we have the utility discs. So these ones are my get out of jail free cards. First off, we'll start out with the Sapphire. I was throwing Avenger SS for kind of my understable utility disc for a while, but it got a little too beat up, so I subbed in this Sapphire. It's a 2021 Trilogy Challenge series. Super nice plastic, really flippy. This is my roller disc now, and it's super reliable, just absolutely fantastic. It's been getting more distance than the Avenger SS, I've noticed, because that one was a little too flippy. This one really holds for a while. It takes a slow burn to get to the right, but usually ends up flipping. Effortless glide on this thing. I think it's like a 6 glide or something like that, but backhands too, if I need something a little bit more understable than that beat up TI Undertaker, I'll reach for this one and throw it slow and it'll get the full flip over that I need it to. Super good disc, really been happy with it. And then the final disc in my bag, the Discraft Machete Z plastic. It's red, so it's super overstable. Like I said, it's a thing. I don't know. But this is board flat, feels like a knife in the hand. Machete is a good term for it because that's kind of what it feels like. I throw this thing for forehand rollers a ton, get it up on just a little bit of angle and it'll just push forever. If I'm ever in the woods, I'm taking this with me because I know that I might have to throw that forehand roller, but it just holds flat for a long time. And then for throwing backhand, forehand, it's just an absolute meat hook. It doesn't go anywhere. And sometimes that's what I need it for. Even if it's like that 25-mile-per-hour headwind that you just can't get a destroyer to go straight in somehow, this guy will still be as overstable. I don't know how it works. Physics is weird, and so is disc golf, but this thing is fantastic. I like it a lot. Get you a machete. But that's gonna be it for me here today. I really appreciate you guys coming in and checking out this video, checking out what's in my bag. Shout out to Disc Store, obviously, for sponsoring me this year. That's absolutely fantastic. I couldn't do it without them and the support of all of you that are watching this video right now. It's going to be a great season. I can feel it coming. Once April hits, it is nose down, grinding every weekend for tournaments. It's going to be really exciting. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you could take a minute, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace, homies.